Okay. All right, cool. All right, guys. So this is DERP. Stands for Dangerous Electronic Red Teaming Practices. Uh, that guy who made these slides is me. So who are you? Like, I'm a red teamer. I'm a 12-year-old internet troll. Boris' illegitimate love child, actually. So give him a lot of hugs. I'm that DJ Brown guy with dreads, and as my Twitter followers know, I'm the hacker known as 4chan. That's definitely what I was for Halloween. So yeah, I'm just I hope that this talk will be able to help you guys understand things that like red teamers do that are a little derpy and kind of gets us caught. In hopes that like you can also find attackers that do these things, or like step up your red teaming game and not get too owned. So this is me. If you look on the right hand side, that is the hacker known as Anonymous, my my Halloween costume. And it was great until I almost died of heat stroke. And that's me in the club with dreads, and people are making faces in the back. It's great. So what are DERPs? Like I said, they're dangerous electronic red teaming practices. As we'll see, like they cover the gamut, everything from like forgetting to set up your VPN, or like doing something stupid like seeing someone's LinkedIn with your personal LinkedIn, stupid things like that, especially during OSINT. So like for reals though, like what is DERP? DERP is basically when your adversary decides to abandon all tradecraft and do derpy things to get them caught. So what are this mean? The big issues that I've noticed in about 2 years or so doing red teaming is that VPN fails are super common. People will forget to connect to their VPN, or like they'll go into the VPN one way or with one IP, and it's the same IP attacking the target, so it looks really stupid. People forget host names in log files like varlog, wtemp, and stuff like that, which will almost instantly give you away, especially if you have like a Raspberry Pi set up. OSINT with personal accounts, like I was saying with the LinkedIn thing, shouldn't really be doing OSINT with personal accounts because you should just have fake ones anyway. And Exfiltration DERPS, which is actually something that I'm a little guilty of, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but I'm supposed to be good at exfiltrating. I tend to drop networks though. So VPN fails. One of the biggest ones is your VPN in. Let's say like it's your machine, you go to the VPN and its IP is like 255 whatevers, and you come out with that same thing. It's really bad, especially if you're on an internal network of the people that you're trying to compromise, because when they start looking over logs and stuff, it's like, oh, this host connected to this VPN. That's the same VPN that started attacking us from the outside. So you get like attribution and correlation. So that's really stupid, and you should never do that if at all possible. What's even stupider, actually, like universally stupid, is forgetting to use your VPN at all. And like it happens, people just forget to like plug into the switch or like hook to the AP, but you instantly screw yourself over. So yeah, like U to the VPN to the target equals DERP. Forgetting to VPN, DERP. It's not too hard. You could just like buy a wireless access point, set your MacBook or like Windows computer, like Kali box, whatever you might have, to not remember any wireless access point names, and that way when you connect to it, if it drops out, it's not going to accidentally connect to like the corporate Wi-Fi or something. It's always going to be always going to connect to that AP, and you're always going to have VPN, because basically every access point nowadays lets you like import an open VPN config, which all the VPN providers are giving away. So makes it really easy. You could also like just plug in directly to the switch if you have your own like small workstation you're doing all your stuff from. But Rihanna reminds us always that we found DERP in a herpless place. So logs, big indicator. They start seeing an external VPN connected from like an internal range or something, you're screwed. Easy attribution. It's child play for blue team to go around and look through this. They see that you connected, like they have your MAC address if you forgot to spoof it. But honestly, like there's no excuses for not VPNing. I know like it happens, but if you just forget all your other wireless access points, there's no reason to not be on the VPN. What I would suggest, and something that I've like done before that worked out pretty well, get like Amazon EC2 instances and like set up one to be your like your jump box, and so you VPN into one box and have that one VPN to the second Amazon EC2 instance, and that way you're coming in on one IP address, but you're attacking from a completely different IP address. EC2 instances are just easy because you could change the IPs really quickly. It's elastic IP, so you just like pop them out really quick, and new VPN. Good game, everyone. Other good VPN solutions are like Molvad or like private internet access, like whatever you want. Like it doesn't really matter if they log. You're just trying not to get caught by blue team. So feel free to be chintzy on your VPN. So yeah, like use 2 or more VPNs. Anything over like 2 is probably a little bit of overkill. These aren't proxies, you know, like you don't need all 7 of them. Have VPN only like access points, like I was saying before, makes life a lot easier. You don't even have to worry about like starting up any clients or anything. You just connect to the router and you are you're good to go. Good luck, bitches. I'm behind 7 proxies. It's a great photo. I'm so glad I found that. So host names and log files. I've been guilty of this one before. Like you're setting up like a pwn plug or a Raspberry Pi to like kind of call back after you drop it off at the target's location, and you derp because you like logged in with your corporate laptop that has your first name and last name on there. Like it's in the wtemp logs, and I mean you're root, so they shouldn't even be there. You should have cleaned it up. But yeah, wtemp is just a dirty snitch. And don't trust a host name. Never trust a host name. Just kind of stand there and watch me derp, but it's all right because I like the way it herps. I actually found out while making this slide deck that Rihanna is like the meme image for derpy images. She's like the derp queen or something. It was rather interesting research, I guess. So like use VMs. Don't be a derp. Like you could spin up a VPN real quick and name it whatever host name you want. Use someone else's host name. It'll be perfect. Like no attribution back to you. It's really rudimentary. Clear out all your logs. Something that I've noticed some people do that I have to like go back over and clean up is if you use the command less on a Linux machine, it leaves a .less HST file, which shows like files that you've been accessing with less and kind of like parsing through. So helps blue team piece together things, or like helps incident response teams like piece together what you did, what you touched. If you're setting something up and it's your own box, you should just clear out all logs, wipe it all, and you're good to go. Encrypt all the things. This one's really, really important, and the insert anecdote here will kind of sum that one up, actually. So I was on an engagement, and we dropped like a Raspberry Pi configured to work similar to a pwn plug, like call back out over SSH, and we'd get our shell. The problem was like I had forgotten to encrypt like the /home directory. So like all of my callback scripts and stuff were like straight up on the SD card, like ready for anyone to just pop off and be like, oh, this is exactly what he's doing. So I've since changed that up, and I'm like, all right, like encrypt /home and keep all my script inside /home, mount /home to be on the SD card, and then that way you're for the most part good. If your physical hardware device gets compromised, you just don't care, like you no sweat off your back because there's nothing they're going to be able to do with it. So I would highly recommend that, mainly because when I showed up to give the out brief to the client, they were just like, yeah, we knew that it was you because you didn't encrypt anything. Your script said coded by Louis Santana. It was just, GG, I'm the worst APT ever. So like OSINT with personal accounts, that's one of the derpiest of the derps. It's like using your LinkedIn account, your Twitter, your Google+, your Facebook, your OkCupid, or your Tinder. Just like not good ways to do it, especially because most of these websites let you see who's visited your profile, especially stuff like LinkedIn where you get paid to have that service and you see everyone that hits it. So let's say you were testing a company or like testing yourself internally. If someone's like, hey, Louis Santana like has been checking out my LinkedIn profile. Oh, I know that guy. Like he works with me. Must be a red team exercise. Alert the blue team because winter is coming. It's also on its way. So make new accounts. Duh. So that's super easy to think of. And make multiple fake accounts. It's great. Like I have this whole like weird web of people that are friends with each other and just like adding credibility to myself, and like spread out through multiple industries. You don't always have to like target like a salesperson or something. You could be like, all right, I want to be an art director today. So like you make an art director, like LinkedIn or Google Plus or whatever. And when in doubt, just steal someone's identity. I'm not sure if that's an actual word, but I thought it was catchy. So yeah, like steal it. I've done it all the time. I'm like, all right, I got to seem like this artsy guy that like does UI design. Look up the company, look up their UI team. I'm like, oh, that guy's pretty cool. Steal all your information, make my own account. Google's really awesome with this, actually. If you steal someone's information and you like link it to another account, like your Facebook or something, it actually like pulls down the image, and it's great because when you email someone, it shows your little face like on Gmail, and whenever you like instant message people, so it's really awesome. Like you see them like this person, but you have to be careful because sometimes when you steal someone's identity, it comes back to bite you. An example of this actually happened kind of recently. We were social engineering the HR department for a company, and we're like, hey, like we're looking to jump ship and like, or I'm looking to jump ship and like work with you guys doing graphics, this, that, and the other. And so like we have this whole thing going on, and then suddenly they're just like, oh, are you like such and such person? Like we just get a message from this girl at like 8 o'clock at night. Like, yeah, don't be silly. Like, of course it's me. Like, look at my face in your instant messenger. It looks so legit. And she's just like, no, for real. Who are you? I'm standing next to so and so. And I was like, well, should have done more research on that. So yeah, just be careful, because that definitely almost ended our entire engagement. It was lolsy though. I love Derpy Hooves. I love her so much. Those dogs though, that's great. It's like a new sport or something. Just love it. So here's some exfiltration derps. rsync, I love rsync. If your transfer gets stuck midway through, doesn't matter. Like you can restart it. You can encrypt things like through the wire as you pass them. But like rsync can derp. It will derp. By default, it basically defaults to derping. Because you end up congesting networks really bad. Like, unless you rate limit, rsync's like, all right, give me your entire pipe. I'm just going to like push all this data through it. So dropping networks is worse, and that happens sometimes. But even just congesting it and slowing people down enough, I've like seen people get freaked out and like hit up security team, like my computer's going slow. Like, what's going on? And it's just because like bombarding the network. So the one thing I would recommend, and it took me so long to find this, and I should have just read the man pages, but whatever. Like --BW limit, and then you put how many kilobytes per second, and it'll limit your rsync, which is great. It'll save your life. Slow and steady wins the race definitely like applies here. I'd rather take like a week to exfiltrate something and like not tip anyone off than try to knock it out in an hour and like drop the network or something. And but one thing that I have noticed a lot, especially in the Bay Area where I work, a lot of people and like companies using Dropbox or like Google Drive. So if you can compromise them, like steal their Dropbox and screw exfiltrating data off, like you just log in as their Dropbox account and let it sync to your local computer, and that way it's all like third party out of bounds. And you can do some like really cheeky stuff with that too, which is nice. Like set up temporary staging areas where you're just like, all right, like make a copy of the shadow file, put it in their Dropbox folder. It syncs down to your box, and you like shred it real quick, and all the evidence is for the most part gone once you clear up the bash logs. So it's a really good way to exfiltrate data, and no one's going to end up like banning Dropbox or even worse, Google. So it's a really nice way to do it. And it took me a little bit to realize that. A couple of network drops, some network latency issues, and just not good times after overall. So like that's a cool story, bro, but do a thing. So here is basically where I embarrassed myself with a couple different stories, so you guys can see how I like derped up along the way and how it ended up influencing like the engagement. So let's see. Okay, so there was actually quite a few times like start breaking into a building or something, like doing a physical engagement, but like forget and leave my work badge on, and just like, what the hell is this guy doing here? Just like, crap, forgot that. So that's actually really funny. Sometimes it works, especially if you have like blank badges or lanyards. I was talking with someone about this. But yeah, so like some other electronic stuff that has definitely bitten me in the ass before is just like tweeting out to people where I'm just like, hey, anyone have like a good like VPN solution? And people will like tweet me back and they're like, oh, like use this VPN. And a lot of companies invest in just like archiving Twitter. And so if they do notice that like, oh, XYZ VPN started attacking us, so like, oh, look, this guy tweeted to Lewis like this thing, and it's like, oh, same provider that is attacking us. It's probably Lewis. Means it's a red team engagement. Shut them down. So I tend to have like radio silence when I'm doing an engagement, just because of that. You never know like who's looking, who's watching. Another thing that has bitten me in the ass before is like if you hack into someone's Gmail, you can set filters so like the security team can't email them or like instantly go to trash. But like it's bad if you forget to re-enable it for the user, because then the security team can't communicate anything, and it's a great way to piss people off. Yeah. But so additionally, in addition to this, another big issue that I've noticed is when exfiltrating data, you have to like kind of pick and choose your battles, because even when you're rate limiting, if you're doing it in the middle of the workday, like a bunch of people are already using up that pipeline. So if you slow them down even a little bit, end users tend to get kind of finicky. They're like upset. They're like hitting up IT department, security department, like, I've got a virus. Like, oh no, just do a thing. So try to like Also plan to not do it at night though, because like it's a big indicator of compromise. Like, hey, no one's on the network. Like the movie Hackers, like God wouldn't be awake this late. That was definitely a derp on their part. So yeah, just try to target like lunchtime areas. Some people take lunches a lot later than other people, so just like yeah, do your potentially derpy things when not too many people are in the office, but you're not gonna also ruin yourself. So I think I have. Okay, perfect. So this is either going to be the best idea I've ever had during a talk, or it's going to be a total train wreck, but I'm hoping for the former. I decided to be pretty cool. Like I've never really seen someone doing this, having like an Ask Me Anything like portion of a talk where you can ask me about like derpy things, ask me about like things I've encountered, derpy things you've seen, and like we can go back and forward. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so I just want to start doing that, and that's actually perfectly timed. I want to start doing that. So does anyone have any questions about like red teaming overall, or like derpy things that you've done, or like derpy things you like have seen or anything, or want to hear? Oh, let's see. I've derped a lot of things. I've derped a lot of derpy things, but oh, so not at my current job, but at a previous one, I was supposed to be watching the security cameras that we had taken like control of for the actual building, and I was like, cool, it's fine, like it'll be super ninja. I'll do like Hollywood stuff. I'll like replay like yesterday's tape. It'll be fine, like super badass like swordfish stuff. And I had completely forgotten to do it, and because like I was like, it's cool, my coworker's not gonna get caught because we're gonna wipe all the tape. Like my coworker's just like dancing around and doing like dumb stuff on camera, and just like forgetting to wipe it. It's just like, nope, like instantly owned. Why you so derp? Like get Alpha Computer right now. So I think that's the derpiest thing. Do you have a question, Casey, or saw you raise your hand earlier? Oh, cool. No, it's a nervous tick. Reach out and touch me. Any other questions, or like should I tell more super derpy anecdotes, or yeah, this AMA failed really bad actually. Yeah, man, I'm done. It's too late. Nah. So more tales of derp. All right, cool. So so we had taken control. It sounds like I see you guys a bit more. So we had taken control of a core router access point thing, and we were like, cool. Like we don't even have to man in the middle because we're the freaking router now. So we decided, hey, let's DNS poison this, and we can catch people logging into their corporate email accounts or like the VPN accounts. It'll be great. The problem is, if you start doing that, things can go terribly awry because you're basically poisoning the entire network, and any one little hiccup causes everything to drop. And so in the middle of a test, just like everything drops for all the users on the target. So we're like, oh crap! Like we even got kicked out of our shells. Like there's nothing we can do now, and we're just sitting there hoping that no one gets on the switch and like starts looking at the DNS routes and just like pointed to our AWS server, like where we're poisoning everything. And that was just derp. I remember during the outbrief, they were like, yeah, we caught you guys because we realized that the network kept dropping or like constantly. I was like, oh, guess I shouldn't DNS poison edge routers. So let's see, what's another good derpy one? I haven't, but I have set the alarm off while breaking into a building. I was actually this one's more on a physical side, not so much like electronic red teaming, but I had an under the door tool, and I'm like just trying to get into this campus, and like I put the tool under the door. I like grabbed the latch on my first try, and I was super happy. I was like, yeah, like this is great. I feel like a badass. I never get these things on the first try, so I do it, and like it's everything's fine. Like the latch pulls, but as soon as I unlock, like as soon as I pull on the door, alarms just start blaring. So I'm like, damn, like one of two options: run before the cops get here, or just like bum rush the facilities. I decided to go with the former. I wish I actually would have done the latter, but I did the former, and I'm like running with this like big tool. I'm just like trying to run. It's like midnight, so there's like dew on the grass, and the guy I was with is just like, don't fall. And as he says it, I'm just like, I'm like lose my shit. I'm like, screw it, like grab the K tool, under the door tool again, just like start running. It was scary. Like we hadn't set off alarms before, so we didn't really know like police response time, and we're kind of out in the boonies a little bit, so it was also pretty scary. Like me running around with a black hood on and just like this weird metal thing in my arm. So yeah, setting off alarms is a thing, and you feel like a derp as soon as you do, but like there's not much you could have done about it, right? Like you didn't know they had the alarm. Well, you might know, but I definitely didn't, and it was great. All right, cool. Oh, there.
You ever had to during one of your engagements because of being caught? You ever had to question
So I'll repeat the question because that's actually a pretty lolsy one. I want that one on the record. So what I was asked was if like being on the cusp of being caught like on a red team or something, if I just like blank out and I'm like, where's my mommy? And just I haven't done that. I actually should just like shave up really well before a pen test and like show up there like, I lost my mom. This isn't the Walmart. I should do that actually. I like that. Oh my god. Yeah. Santa Claus. Yeah.
Wow. You're right.
Yeah, so the comment was that I should break into some place during get out like bring your child to work day. That would be great. I should start like compiling a list of companies that have that and like what day they do it on. That like even if I wasn't doing it like for work, just like walk around and like see where I can get and just I lost my mommy. I should. As long as you have my bail money, that's fine. Nice. If there's no more questions, I'll tell some more anecdotes or all right, cool. So what's something always make sure you know where you're going. If you can get like building layouts, it's even better. I was on a gig and where we get to this elevator after we like social engineer some badges and we've got like full access everywhere. But we noticed that we're on floor 2, even though it seems like the ground floor. So we're like, oh, I guess they have a basement or something. Let's go down there. It's probably where the server rack is. So we're like, sure, like let's do this. We click one, like go down to what we think is the basement. It ends up being like a government installation. And like, so we're like, this is a little weird. It doesn't seem like the company that we were trying to break into. Like maybe it's just like old. So we're walking around and yeah, it didn't end too well. I don't really like guns pointed in my face, so I'm just trying to work. And there was definitely some guns. So that's always. Oh, also, this is a big derp. Not so much electronic, but like physical. If you're ever like on site and you have like a get out of jail free card, never put it in your back pocket. Like always the front, like a chest pocket or something, because telling someone with a gun or like an officer, like I'm just gonna reach back here real quick and get this paper for you, doesn't really work well. It's just like right here, man. Like it's in my shirt pocket. Works a lot better, and you don't accidentally get like cop-assisted suicide or anything. Let's see other anecdotes. Oh, so I've also had these like really weird experiences with ceiling tiles. So if you're ever on like on one of these drop ceilings, probably not. You probably shouldn't do it in this hotel. But if you're ever in that, like to get over something, like bypass a lock, or bypass a door. Make sure you don't stand. I didn't know this the first time I did it. There's like really good supports up there, but like they also have this weird like grouting thing. You got me.
I got it unlocked, actually.
Nice. That's awesome. Sorry. Yeah. So like if you look, there's like these like almost like grout for like tiles. Don't step on those. I thought they'd be a lot. What was that? Yeah, it was not fun. I've like fallen out of ceilings before. Yeah, it's so yeah. There'll always be metal supports, and just crawl along those because it hurts to fall out of a ceiling. I know from experience, actually. Yeah.
Hey, have you ever walked in on an executive thing with a sister or anything like that?
Wow. Can't say I have. I've chilled.
Would you like to?
I've definitely like hung out in like executives' offices though, like break into the CFO's office or something, just like hanging out or like hanging out at the CEO's desk or just, like something trolly, like waiting for. It's even better if they're like your client contact, because like breaking into their office before they even show up to work and just like chilling in their chair, like the look on people's faces is amazing. It's like a mixture of like surprise, hate, and like murderous intent.
You don't
Yeah.
find like black fists or anything, like desk drawers or anything like that?
No black fists in any drawers I've been in yet. So I'm keeping my options open. I'm hoping that one day I like open a drawer and it's like a special drawer.
I guess you've never been to yacht.
Oh man. Let's see. Oh, so something that's like super useful that you can do. And this is kind of a derp. I guess it's my fault. So like visitor badges are great because even though they get dated, no one really checks. Everyone's just like whatever, like crappy piece of paper, and you're good to go. So I was like reusing a guest badge when I really just could have printed it out myself, like go to Kinko's and have them print them out a new one with the template. But I just I wear my old one the next day and totally get called out on it. Someone's like, no, like that expired yesterday. How do you even still have this? You're supposed to like turn that in at the end of the day. And I was like, oh, I don't know. They told me I had an appointment today. Like I signed in earlier. Like your system must be messed up. I was like, it's 3 o'clock, and like, look, it says 3 o'clock on the guest badge. Like your system's just messed up. Saying something like that to a physical security officer is derp, because they will instantly just like radio it in if like, especially if you're looking like sketchy, like me with a freaking backpack and like antennas and stuff popping out of it. So yeah. Oh, it was great. It was amazing. This talk is just like a giant troll. It's great. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Derp. So what else is derpy things? Oh, this is actually a good one. If you have to do like, even if it's just like a normal on-site like internal assessment, like this one should be obvious, but I fall for it quite a bit. Like remember to bring your battery charger or like your laptop charger. I've had plenty of times where like I show up like on site and there's not a Best Buy to be found or like a Walmart to be found or anything. I sit down, like open up my laptop, 15% battery. Like, oh, it's gonna be a fun pen test. I've got about an hour to finish everything. Let's hustle. And Amazon 2-day shipping does not come fast enough. That's what I learned. So yeah, like always make sure you have your peripherals. And that's just like a life derp though, which I'm guilty of. Man, there's a lot of laughter there. Let's see, what time is it? Okay, cool. Any more questions or anything? All right, cool. So I have some questions for you guys. Like, how many of you people do red team or like security consulting work? Cool. So we'll talk about that later on. Special time of the month when your team just
Oh, yeah.
That's why his beard's purple now. So of you people, that was weird. Of you people that like aren't consultants or anything, are you guys more on like the detection response side of things, or like forensic acquisitions, or like I guess like who does IR here? Okay, yeah. Do you have a question or just okay? Yeah. So that was actually surprising. Anyone like do other typical blue team stuff? Like have to look at malware as it comes in or any of that? That guy. Yeah. So the reason I ask is I'd actually like to get a lot more information on derpy things, because like I only did blue team stuff for like a year when I worked at a web host, and I'm sure I do a lot more derpy things, and I eventually want to compile like a list of like the hackers' top 10 derpy things to do. So I was hoping that some of you guys had seen some derps. Actually, yeah, has anyone ever like seen derps or like derped themselves? No? Damn, just me. The host name thing, yeah, dude, like that burns me so often. I'm just like, it really sucks. So like, yeah, now I just have VMs and I'm like, oh, cool. I'm dropping it off at this guy's desk. I'll just like make my host name his name. It's great. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, like and change your MAC addresses and stuff like that. So yeah, you got a question or yeah? Oh, so
No, I did that like 10 years ago on the AS.
so the comment was that someone was basically ARP spoofing an entire network and forgot to turn routing on, and that definitely falls under the like don't derp during exfiltration kind of things. Like don't drop the network, because that's a great way to derp up and get caught. It's a pretty good one actually. What was that? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not entirely too sure. Um, so sorry. Let's see. Oh, okay, cool. So a couple red teamers here, a couple security consultants and stuff. What would you recommend, or like what have you done in the past to basically keep yourself from derping? And the reason I ask is when I first started doing like pen testing consulting, I didn't even think about any of this stuff. I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. Like I'm doing a pen test. But like as I've been doing more and more red teaming, I've noticed that there's a lot of really weird things. Oh, this is actually a good derp. So by default, a lot of Linux installations, by the bash shell by default will not has a setting to allow that you could just like completely wipe off history and stuff, which is great. Like it doesn't do duplicate commands, but the one really funny thing is that if you put a space before any command or any number of spaces before it, it just doesn't get logged, and that's like the default setting, which is great. And that's not like it's a derp on their part, not so much mine. But the problem is when you end up compromising like an OS X box, like a MacBook or something, that setting isn't there by default. And so I've derped many times. I'm just like I do my entire like Hacksaw Elite stuff, and I like get caught because everything was in the bash log, like entire chain of evidence to get me. So always keep an eye on those things. I've also run into some Ubuntu boxes that were the same way, and I'm like, geez. Yeah, it's part of the bash.profile like default, and yeah, it's just like that's their default setting. So I know that Red Hat tends to fall for it. Debian distros, a lot of them actually. BSDs don't. What was that? Yeah, you could set it. Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one. And it's something I've been guilty of before. It's like calling out to GitHub for like SQL map or something. Derp, 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 derp. Uh, yeah, that one really sucks. I would definitely recommend like either having a stable image where you know everything works and just like running off that, or like on your plane ride over or something. Start up. Well, probably not the plane ride because go in flight sucks. But yeah, like update your tools. Especially stuff that auto updates when it runs. I have a couple tools that like they call out first to like look for new versions. Those things are kind of scary. Just yeah, uh, like that tool. um, yeah, how am I doing? Oh, I've got time. Yeah. So let's think about. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Most of us aren't retarded.
I do everything off of those plans.
Wow. So you like write it all down like listwise, like the steps you're gonna take, or like.
So then that way you don't
Smoke
forget
is like a
to
true audio.
don't forget to turn on.
PCI.
Hey, I don't do
So that's actually a good idea, like writing everything down. So one thing I always do, like when I start an engagement, is I actually have like a VM just for it, and I revert back to a known good snapshot with it, and that like tends to help out a lot because yeah, yeah,
PCI.
VMs, man.
Checkbox.
and you're hiring, by the way.
All right. Any more questions, or can I show you guys my contact info? I'm actually all out of stories. I thought I'd have a lot more. Yeah,
Header there
Swipe right.
swipe right here. So.
header file Google.
So Sup Hacker Sup. I'm Connection on Twitters. If you want to email me, I'm 0x@383d3d44.com. For all the nerds, that's 8 == D in hex, which is great having a little ASCII penis as my email. So GPG email, like hacktalk@hacktalk.net, and you could like pull down my key at that link. And my phone number as well, like, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but could I get your password, please? That was better in my head. Yeah, that was. As soon as I said it, I instantly regretted it. All right. Yeah, I think that's it. Any other questions or like throw things at me or shoot me if you're Bill Gardner? Oh, I never thought about that. That's actually pretty good. So the comment was like if you're doing a physical. If you're ever doing like a physical, look for a fire escape because they tend to have like the evacuation routes and have like a nice like floor layout. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. All right. For the low price of $9.95, you could take them home. Any other questions or anything? This talk has been the most troll talk I've ever. Just wait. All right. So that's actually it for me, guys. Thanks for sitting in and hearing me derp.
Yeah! Sure!
Clap.
Sure!